feeling like shit and not being happy with your situation and being sad and anxious and tired and feeling depressed might be exactly what you need to skyrocket your progress. I think when I look back to every single period of my life when I wasn't happy and when I hated how I was, when I looked into the mirror and I didn't enjoy what I saw, that was enough to push me over to become productive. That was the turning point for me to say, when I turned 16, I said, I'm going to make a commitment and a vow to myself that I'm going to do push ups every single day. And I'm going to make sure that I do everything I possibly can to be the sort of person that I want to become. And when you make a commitment to yourself, when you're uncomfortable, the pain of what you're feeling in that time is enough to push you into basically becoming and evolving into the person you want to be in, and become the person that has all of the attributes and lives the life that you want to live. And so you don't go from place A where you're really depressed and sad and you hate yourself to place B without that in between period. But to initiate that in between, you need to acknowledge how you feel. You can't force these feelings away through cheap dopamine and porn and video games and distracting your mind so you don't feel these emotions. You need to feel them. You need to be heartbroken at some point. You need to not enjoy life at some point in order for you to be so sick of where you are, where that comfort, that lack of progress is so sickening that you're forced to be productive. You're forced to be a better person. And so every time I look back in my life and I look back at where I was, that is why I'm where I am now. Without that, without the feeling of not believing in myself and not having any confidence and always being really anxious about what people thought of me and what people said, I needed that. And as much as I don't want to be there again, and as much as I hate being uncomfortable still after all these years, I know that discomfort is the price you need to pay in order to reach your goals. And so if you're in a period of time where you feel like life is just so overwhelming and you feel like it's just hard to get through every single day because of how you feel, you need to know that you might be in the best years of your life. You might not realize that that place that you think sucks so badly might be the reason you end up rich someday. It might be the reason you chase your dreams and actually reach your dreams. That period that you're in, I look back at every single time I've been in that phase or those phases, and I'm thankful that they happened. Because if not for them, and you're always comfortable all the time, you're just going to be more depressed in the long term because you don't initiate action. And at the bottom, or at the end of the day, the bottom line is that action kills depression. Like, what's the saying? Depression can't hit a moving target, or whatever it is. If you're always doing things and you're always trying to better your life and you're using that free energy, then you're always going to be in a better place. You're always going to be getting better. Hate and depression and anxiety, for me, are like the best motivators to keep working. When people don't like me or I don't feel good about myself, the gym sessions have never been better because I have something to prove, not just to them, but to myself. The idea that you always just need to feel happy all the time and you always just need to chase happiness and dopamine. All of the things that I wasn't, for example, confidence, ability to stay consistent, self belief, um, physicality, uh, just general confidence in life and capabilities in life, all of them started for me at such a low point that it makes me appreciate what I have even more because I look back and think about how I was back in that time period when I didn't have any of these things. And I look back with nostalgia knowing how far I've come and knowing that the progress was the progress and the journey was more important than what I have now. The fact that I didn't have something and then worked every single day to get it, That feels more rewarding than actually having confidence or actually having self belief to go and do whatever I want all the time and be able to show up and have the mindset that I've developed over 7 or 8 years. And so, if you're in a period where you don't have any of that yet, you only can go up. You can only get better. You have nothing to lose. You may as well just give it your best because you're at a point where you're going to look back in 5 or 6 years and be grateful for where you are. The worse the starting point, the more radical the change will be. And you see this in countries where people have nothing, yet they'll be so resourceful to use whatever they have out of desperation to end up in a better place. Whereas someone who's comfortable and gets everything they want is going to stay exactly where they are because they have no reason to change. They have nothing to push them or nothing to motivate them. And when I think about if you were to be the most productive person of all time, you would want to surround yourself around 5 or 6 other people who don't let you make excuses for yourself. And depression and anxiety is kind of that. It's kind of the idea that your excuses do not outweigh the pain that you're feeling. The pain that you're feeling now is so bad and so unbearable that you actually choose to do something about it every single day. And every time you think about where you are and where you want to be, the depression is like a constant reminder of needing to change. And so the more sad periods I feel and the more I don't like my life or I don't like looking in the mirror, the more motivation I just get because I look at that and I take it as now I have a reason to wake up every single day and work towards this one goal. Every single day. Now I get to actually do something about it. I have a purpose. I have something to work towards. And now it's like life is now a video game. And so the worse you feel, the better it is in the long term. I think it's kind of like in a volleyball game. When you verse a really easy opponent and you didn't really have to work hard and it just the win just comes easily, you don't feel as satisfied as when you have to actually put up a fight and overcome this obstacle and overcome a team and beat a team that's better than you objectively and work really hard and have all of this anxiety and pressure and all these emotions flooding into you while you're playing. If not for those emotions and how you feel then, you don't get to enjoy the victory. You don't get to enjoy the fact that your win was deserved and you're the reason why you won. When you have challenges and difficulties in life and you're versing this 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 team that is more prepared and more competitive and even talks shit against you, when you beat that and you overcome that challenge, you feel so much better and the sleep at night just feels way more deserved because you actively did something and accomplished something that required you to work and literally just be better than the other team. And so when you just verse a really shitty team and you verse someone who's extremely mediocre, there's no pride in when you win because you were just better than them. Your cards were better. Maybe you're just taller. Maybe you've just been playing longer. But when you verse a team better than you, that that overcoming a challenge is what makes it satisfying. And so it's the exact same in life. When you have a challenge and you don't have a good set of cards or a deck of cards that you're a bit behind in life, maybe you don't have as much money or um, you struggled growing up because you didn't have a dad, whatever it is, it's just an opportunity for you to work even harder and battle out whatever you're facing with more effort because you know that the requirement to beat whatever challenge you're going through is so much greater than the amount of effort you're putting in, and the discomfort and the anxiety that you feel is enough to push you into putting that action in. So every time you see something in life that doesn't feel fair or feels overwhelming, it's good because that is what causes you to take action.